All right, we going back to April's Game Informer, Forspoken, issue number 344. Right, I'm gonna try to make this under 30 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. Sweetheart. Okay, let's read this cover, this editor's note. Yeah, man. Probably need to move the camera, but I'm gonna just keep going. We're just a couple of months into the year, and I'm already intimidated by my 2022 backlog. As I work through Horizon Forbidden West, I'm off in the distance. Elden Ring, Lost Ark, and Pokemon Legends Arceus call me like the beating in the telltale heart, begging to be played. When my friends hop online, progress in these single-player titles comes to a halt, so I can focus on Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 2, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, and Destiny 2, The Witch Queen. On top of these games, I somehow must find time to check out the Artful Escape, Sifu, and Ali Ali World. Writing about how far behind I am in my gaming stresses me out. By the end of each year, I always have an unwieldy tower of games I want to spend time with, but it doesn't consist of the big must-plays like I'm falling behind on now. Unlike new movies and TV shows, which take little time to watch, most of the games I mentioned are massive in size, demanding of dozens of hours to complete. The problem, which is also a great thing, is developers don't want us to put their games down. They want us to lose ourselves in their worlds and be there when the new content unlocks. Games like Lost Ark and World of Warcraft have earned the title of forever games, since they seemingly don't end, so long as players return. Some of my friends who used to play dozens of games in a year now only play a few and are hooked on forever experiences. Yeah, man, I'm trying to figure out how to read this with... Alright, I'm going to try to read it through the screen, my bad. Getting more bang for our buck from games is incredible, but I often find my enjoyment with them interrupted by a series of questions. Should I just stick to the critical path to reduce my time commitment? If I'm not engaging in much side content, am I genuinely experiencing the game? If I put this 100-hour plus game down for a week to play something else, will I be able to slide back into it? Or will my 40-hour playthrough up to this point go to waste? I want to play all the big games in a year, but when they are gargantuan in size, concessions are inevitable, either within the game or avoiding others. My parents watched all the Oscar-nominated films in 2 weeks. How many weeks, if not months, would it take to play all of the year's great games? These days, we're spoiled with entertainment, but we are getting too much, even if we play just one game. I would love to hear your thoughts on this subject and include a couple of letters in the next month's reply section. In the meantime, check out the review section on page 72 to read about some of the year's best games. All right, Forspoken. On our cover, reluctant hero Frey rides a wave of conflict even as the evil Tanta sorceresses and their corrupted creatures lurk in the background. Art director Yuki Matsuzawa created the colorful spread. The artist also crafted Game Informer's Final Fantasy XV cover. Our 14-page Forspoken cover story is based on a nearly 30-minute hands-off demo Square Enix prepared for us on February 8th, along with insight from various members of the Forspoken team to learn how this fairy tale world and new IP came to life. Along with the magazine you hold in your hand, Square Enix created a variant of our gold edition that features different artwork on the cover. Head over to GameInformer.com to learn more about the availability of this rare version. I'm going to do that, as a matter of fact. Hey, if anybody knows how long they've been making gold editions, put it in the comments, please. All right, so the contents, table of contents, page 34. What is page 34? Probably Forbidden, whatever. Probably Forspoken. All right, then we got Page 10, into the multiverse of the Metaverse. The Metaverse is quickly taking over the game industry, with companies worldwide jumping on the bandwagon. But why? And probably gonna end up like NFTs on the cool. But why? We talked to a handful of developers and skeptics about their thoughts on this new frontier of gaming. Gotta rank them all. There is frankly an absurd amount of these little monsters. The resident game informer Pokemaniacs recently put their heads together to determine the best of each type. Squirtle, Charmander, Pikachu, Bulbasaur. Cover story, Forspoken. Coming from a new studio within Square Enix, Luminous Productions' Forspoken has more than piqued our interest. Check out our in-depth cover story for developer insights, a behind-the-scenes look at gameplay, and an exclusive look at a new region, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Gearbox is back with another entry in its over-the-top Borderlands series, but this time the focus is Tiny Tina. We played a handful of hours, chatted with the development team, and gathered what you need to know. Ayuden Chronicle Rising, several key developers behind Suikoden are back with the prologue to their spiritual successor, Ayuden Chronicle Rising. We talked to the team members about this companion game. Yeah. Spiritual successors. That Mighty Number 9. That'll probably get a sequel one day, but not yet. Alright, a little bit about Elden Ring. First off, cheers to Dan Tack for writing a cover story that had me hanging on every word. It was one of the most exciting stories I've ever read. Seeing how From Software, that always throws me off. From Software is adapting the Souls experience to an open world format has me thinking that the developer will try it with other genres and game designs. Do you think the next Armored Core game, which we learned about through an online leak, will be faithful to the series or adapt Souls-like elements? I'm hoping it's the latter. From Software is on a roll with it, and I can see it working with this series. Armored Core, I'm sure that's like a mech warrior, right? All right, we got a cool Batman and Catwoman at skyscrapers on a gargoyle, and yeah, I guess they got windows in there. That's pretty wild. Nintendo is Disney. Alright, just scoot the camera up is what I'm gonna do. Alright, I sometimes hear Nintendo referred to as the Disney of video games. I can understand this comparison in some respects. The recognizable mascots, oodles of money behind being made, the theme parks, the colorful history, and the childlike aesthetic of some of their content, to name a few. However, I see key differences. Mainly that Nintendo isn't afraid to slap its name on a big mature rated game like Bayonetta 2 or infamously Devil's Third. They also more regularly suffer from failed products and ad campaigns like the Wii U that they take visible steps to fix. I know the comparison is mainly symbolic and not that deep, but what do y'all think? Is Nintendo the Disney of video games? Dominic. All right, let's go ahead and read the reply. In terms of creating family-friendly experiences often involving animals, yes, Nintendo and Disney's old animation businesses line up remarkably well. Flash forwards to a couple of decades, and Disney now looks more like Microsoft from numerous company acquisitions to help flesh out a burgeoning streaming service. Comparisons aside, there is no company like Nintendo which has cornered the video game market in such a unique way. Yeah, because Nintendo, you don't even have to be a gamer. Like, I'm pretty sure they still have Wii's at retirement homes. So, but let's see what these metaverses bring about. The year of VR. Andrew Reiner's letter about the year of VR made me run out and buy a Meta Rift 2. I was a little leery of my purchase since I hadn't seen anybody talking about it lately. Within seconds of booting up the headset, I was in awe of what I was seeing. Just standing in the lobby where you pick games is a transformative experience. It really feels like you're in a different world. I have now played over a dozen games on it and am hooked beyond belief. This is a whole new type of gaming, and it's every bit as amazing as playing on console. Thank you, thank you, thank you for opening my eyes to the future. See, that's how you get dropped off into the Matrix. Keep poking the bear, or you'll get them Matrix aliens on you, Matrix robots on you. Alright. Uncharted, the movie. I haven't played the game, so I would just skip it. Okay, into the multiverse of the Metaverse. Gaming and the Metaverse are inextricably linked for better or worse. For worse. Okay, depending on who you ask, the Metaverse could be any number of things. For some, it's highly centralized around gaming, existing as an MMO-like experience. For others, it's a virtual workspace of digital or a digital version of the world we already live in. The most commonly accepted version of the Metaverse, though, is something that resembles Ready Player One, where all of your favorite characters, friends, and family members interact with each other in a 3D virtual world. Or at least that's the most idealized version of what the Metaverse could be. Of course, that's not a reality at the moment, and the closest some things come might be Epic's juggernaut free-to-play battle royale game, Fortnite. But long-running MMOs like CCP's games, EVE Online might be just as close to what Metaverse may become. A virtual world where players become entirely different people living completely different lives. They might be the commander of a space fleet, igniting a war to colonize planets prime for resources, or they might be a simple trader on a peaceful planet. For CCP CEO Hilmar Peterson, conversations about the Metaverse are nothing new. In conversation, you can sense the blasé outlook he has on the idea. Not because he isn't interested in it, but because they are the same ideas he's heard shuffled in gaming circles since 1992 release of Snow Crash, a foundational sci-fi novel that set a precedent, not necessarily the precedent, for what a metaverse could be, even going as far as to coin the word metaverse. Flip it down. We basically had the whole concept of the metaverse in Snow Crash, Peterson says. It was the first wave of the metaverse hype, and there were plenty of companies doing this. What we were basically envisioning was to take the internet to 3D, the web being the 2D internet. Then we wanted to build the 3D internet in VR. And if you look at the latest kind of sparked dialogue around the word metaverse, it's almost like nothing has changed. Peterson is alluding to an ongoing discourse that's been brewing for years, heightened when social media giant Facebook changed its name to Meta and highlighted a possible work-focused metaverse. Peterson isn't interested in this concept. For him, the metaverse can be and should be so much more. Game Informer recently spoke to 4 different companies either developing metaverse games or developing game-related software. Despite different outlooks on the metaverse, there was one commonality. It's about agency. All right, it's pretty much impossible to really kind of get to all of this in 30 minutes, so I guess I'm going to just try to let it ride for an hour maybe. All right. Becoming whoever or whatever you want. Following the release of Snow Crash, the word metaverse was thrown around just as haphazardly as it is today. As it is defined in the novel, the metaverse is a hyper-real digital world, so real that, for example, if your online avatar was hacked in a dangerous virus, you might experience actual brain damage. Companies like Freddy Krueger was the OG metaverse. All right. Companies like Machina Technologies and Immersion Corp pitched their own ideas of that metaverse with less brain damage, but technology in the 90s proved too primitive to bring it to life. The idea subsided until the innovations in the early 2000s when games such as Second Life and PlayStation Home revitalized the discussion once again. But then MMOs like World of Warcraft and EVE Online were in the hands of gamers and becoming more popular. And while metaverse discussions had calmed once more, the term metaverse could have easily been swapped with MMO. Fast forward 19 years, and Peterson is aware that the metaverse discussions of the 90s and then the 2000s are returning. And yet he still thinks we're still we're still another 25 years off from what the metaverse everyone pictures in their head. While the term metaverse remains almost as nebulous as it has in the years past, its potential to transform the world, or at least gaming, is evident. That's when you become batteries to the robots. The idea of the metaverse is so attractive because it feels like something where you will have more agency, which is related to power, Peterson says. Why do people go and play games online? I never play. Well, yeah, I mean TCGs. It's about the power fantasy. It can't currently build a space empire. I can't currently build a space empire in real life. In EVE Online, though, he can, and millions of players do, because at the heart of the game is agency. The same agency that might prop up in the metaverse one day. If you want to build a space empire in EVE Online, the skeleton needed to do that is there. If it doesn't interest you, there's plenty else you can do. I do have the EVE Online card game. I'll be busting that out in probably some months, unless I feel like doing it sooner. However, discussions about the metaverse such as this carry with them a sense of irony. The metaverse is about agency and power fantasies and doing what you didn't think was possible. Okay, because the metaverse isn't really a thing beyond the buzzword Silicon Valley especially loves right now. You can say the metaverse is this or the metaverse is that, and you'd be right. Because it's whatever you want it to be. Considering video games have been providing us the stories and gameplay of people we wish we were or weren't for decades, the idea of the metaverse as it's largely viewed today makes us ask, is the only difference between video games we all know and love and the metaverse a cheesy cyberpunk-esque headpiece that puts us into virtual reality? The more companies like Meta input into the discourse, the more it certainly seems that way. All right, I'm going to try to skim this thing to get to the point. Basically, it seems like it's just hating on the metaverse. Idea of the metaverse is not just recurring, but powerful. People want to feel connected, right? It sounds like you're going to be a cyborg and you're going to put your body on the, you'll put your mind on the, what's that new cloud thing? I forget the name. I think it's another Elon Musk thing. FaceTime was good enough, but now we've really had to rely on it. We understood that there has to be something better, and I think the metaverse is a place right now we can find connection. But our grandmothers aren't going to log into something like EVE Online to gain better communication with us. They probably need a different kind of user interface to feel what EVE Online players feel when playing together. Something real live, blah blah blah. Holotext animes. I think that being able to overcome your anxiety by becoming somebody else is really important in this digital age. Whose metaverse is it anyway? Minecraft. I would agree. We're Take-Two Interactive, probably the biggest metaverse company on earth. If you look in terms of revenue and profits, because we're in Grand Theft Auto Online, which really, I think, defines the metaverse today. Zelnick told CNBC last November. For Sandbox co-founder and COO Sebastian Borget, who runs Pixel Inc., the metaverse is supposedly a sandbox where NFTs and blockchain minted items can pass boundlessly from one thing to the next. The sandbox is an MMO that readily uses the word metaverse to describe itself. It resembles Minecraft in the tourist and graphics, but is decidedly built around multiplayer interaction and relies heavily on the idea of NFTs and owning digital land, which receipts kept on the blockchain. Skimming how those NFT contents are then represented in any application is up to a developer, Borget says. Eitz and many others are critical of the NFT-powered idea of the metaverse. There are only two reasons why the metaverse persists decade after decade, according to Ichi. And the first is the idea of striving for a better connection. The second, though, is more cynical. It's an avenue for money. It's all about the money. All right, last paragraph of this thing. And it's likely to have a different definition each time. Like in the 90s and the 2000s that preceded it, the metaverse grows grows in concept alongside the expansion of the internet and gaming as we know it. Before we could tangibly enter virtual reality worlds, the metaverse was all about VR. Now that VR is here, the metaverse needs to be more. Who's to say that when we finally achieve the metaverse, the 90s always hypothesized that it won't just as quickly grow stale, leaving users wanting more. Much in the same way MMOs, websites, and social media platforms do today. The metaverse is a destination many are after, but as it stands today, it's nothing more than endless chase. Which company crosses the finish line first will depend on whose definition of the metaverse the eventual user base, agree upon. Okay, in the sandbox, players can purchase virtual plots of land and freely sell them to other players using cryptocurrency. NFTs. Alright, gotta rank them on Pokemon. The best Pokemon of each type according to Game Informer staff. With the arrival of Pokemon Legends Arceus and the recent emergence of regional forms, we now have over 900 Pokemon to catch. Not quite 1,000. Right? Pokemon to catch, befriend, and train. But with that many creatures in the series, a question lingers. Which Pokemon is the best? While we could pour over plenty of numbers, stats, and official tournament results to decide which mons come out on top, the question feels a lot less scientific to us and much more of a personal preference. Every Pokemon fan has a favorite someone else wouldn't even consider. With that in mind, Game Informer's Pokemon fans gathered together to determine our collective favorite. Not limiting our selection to just one perfect monster, we elected our favorites from each of 18 current available types. After days of deliberation, we came to at least one conclusion on the matter. Many of our favorite Pokemon concepts were nailed by the game's designers early on, but there are still plenty of great monsters from each generation, and we tried to represent that here. Before you dive in, jot down your favorites for each type and see how they match up to ours. Your choices may be wildly different, and that's okay, and very much expected. It's one of the reasons why Pokemon has endured for more than 25 years. All right, I'm going to go into my personal favorites. All right, Fire. I know these ain't really the types, but I'm going to just go with the colors. Fire. Well, yeah. Fire, Charmeleon. But really, I got to go Mega Charizard GX, the blue one, really. Yeah, something like that. Then Water, classic Squirtle with the glasses, can't beat that. Grass, who's my favorite grass? It wouldn't actually be Bulbasaur, I don't think. I don't know, I gotta still think about that. Psychic, of course, Mewtwo. Yeah. There's way more types, but back to the video. Alright, Ninetales, ice types. The Alolan form. One of the more drastic changes for a regional form is Ninetales' elemental change from harnessing a burning inferno to embracing freezing ice. This snowy fox is one of the most elegant designs in Pokemon and brings a brisk, refreshing revision to one of our favorite members from the original 151. Metagross. What is that dude? I know he evolves from one dude from the original. It looks like it. First encountered in the Hoenn region, Metagross is just fun Pokemon to think about. It's built from 2 Metang that have fused, which in turn were each made from 2 fused Beldum. This Steel and Psychic wonder uses all four of those brains in tandem to determine the best strategy against opponents and uses its heavy magnetic metal frame to carry out the damage. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought it was one of the original 151 evolution. Butterfree, I don't see it. That's not my favorite bug type. We've caught plenty of bugs in our day, but the true OG Butterfree flies into our top slot here. Not only are its spore moves infinitely useful and dangerous in the right hands, but this adorable insect was our first fully evolved Pokemon in Red and Blue. Our early adventures with Butterfree hold powerful memories bolstered by its short stint on Ash's team in the anime that pulled at our young heartstrings. Tyranitar, rock type. The primary rock typing of this pseudo legendary made a few on staff do a double take, but when the dust settled, Tyranitar was the best choice for the spot on the list. Due to its nearly impervious armor-like shell, and attacks are mostly ineffective against it, and when it's thrown into a rampage, Tyranitar is known to destroy entire mountains. Don't mess with this rugged monster. Electric type. Electabuzz or Magneton. Yeah, I'll probably go with Magneton. Or Gorotu, the one that never got officially released. Gorotu. This lion-like dynamo shocked our short list of favorite electric Pokemon after our recent adventures in the Sinnoh and Hisui regions. Its entire family line is immaculate and as an evolutionary design. And Luxray is the electrifying crown on top. Luxray uniquely uses much of its voltage in its eyes, which allows a piercing stare that can see through solid objects. Fire type, Charizard. Only one true icon brings the heat every time we include it in our party. Charizard is one of the most exciting starter evolutions ever. It's a massive flying, fire-breathing dragon. What's not to love? And nostalgia plays a huge role in this pick, as Charizard hails from the original 151 monsters and is featured heavily in the animated TV series. The dragon's arc from being unwilling to help Ash to become a team player is an important and memorable part of the show. Game Freak even gave Charizard 2 awesome Mega Evolutions featuring it in some of the coolest and most valuable cards in the TCG. We're still not over Charizard and can't wait to see how and where it will appear next. Didn't know there were 2 Mega Evolutions. Okay, Deoxys. No, okay. Favorite grass type, gotta be Scyther. Scyther's always been real cool. Deoxys, psychic type, nah, still Mewtwo. What does it take to unseat Mewtwo from the top psychic spot? For us, the transforming virus from space. Deoxys rivals the Gen 1 legend. Deoxys' viral nature makes it incredibly adaptable and ready for almost any situation. Featured 4 different forms: attack, speed, defense, and normal. Deoxys can be adapted to lend its immense psychic strength to just about any team. Okay, never heard of that guy. Sounds like he got 4 forms. That's pretty cool. Quick take. With Gen 9 kicking off this year through the newly announced Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, will soon eclipse the 1,000 Pokemon mark. While I'll probably always favor Gen 1 creatures, give me Dragonite and Mewtwo any day of the week. Game Freak has done an amazing job of introducing new monsters while still finding ways to include everyone's older favorites. Yeah, so the big problem with Pokemon in video games is when you're coming up on 1,000 types, it's hard to do all them animations, and that's what I heard. It's just way too many animations, and then to make them do all the moves too. You might have 100 guys doing the same move, but you got to animate them differently though, I hear. So that's why they only drip you the stuff out in DLC. All right. Yeah, it would be nice if I would read all these, but I might go ahead and do it. So we going for 1 hour. Snorlax, normal type. Yeah, Snorlax, a classic. The Pokemon world has plenty of normal monsters, but one slumbering giant takes the cake and then catches a few more Z's. We're always giddy to wake a pathway blocking Snorlax with a tune from the Poke Flute and catch it to add its tank-like battle prowess to our teams. It also doesn't hurt that it must be wonderful to snuggle up next to for a nice cozy nap. Gyarados, water type. Yeah, Gyarados classic. For few other Pokemon compete with the rags to riches story of Gyarados. Its pre-evolved form Magikarp is good for the occasional tackle, but is otherwise uselessly splashing around. However, once you take it into a few battles and it finally evolves, the fearsome and ferocious Gyarados becomes a stalwart ally and powerhouse worthy of keeping on your team. Like Charizard, its faux draconic design enhances our love for the briny beast. And for many of us, the red Gyarados found in Gold and Silver's Lake of Rage was the first shiny Pokemon we ever caught. This revelatory event led us to seek out these rare color-shifted monsters for hours on end for years to come. Gengar, Ghost type. Hiding in the shadows, haunting unsuspecting victims, and cursing whoever they come across, Gengar is an absolute nightmare and our pick for the best ghost Pokemon. This first generation monster eats dreams and scares children. Worse still, its mouth is Gigantamax form, leads directly to the afterlife. Wow, that's messed up. Grudon, that guy always looked cool. Ground type. Headlining the legendary monster from the... headlining as the legendary monster from the Pokemon Ruby, Grudon uses its mastery of molten fire and control of the earth to perform godlike feats. Its impressive power to create, shape, and move continents makes it a prime choice for the best ground Pokemon. Houndoom, Dark type. This may be the steel category, but Houndoom is possibly the most metal Pokemon in the Pokedex. It wears its darkness all over, from its bone-like armor to its hellish flames, and its mega evolution only accentuates this more. Due to its fiery temperament, this dog bark can be just as devastating as its bite. Grass type, Exeggutor. Okay, these are different people's opinions. Maybe not, because this page was bugged. Okay, this is grass. Kind of like the first video game, it kind of merged. No. Pokemon TCG just merges the types, kind of. Okay, Exeggutor, the Alolan form. Our tall tropical tree friend debuted in Sun and Moon with its memeable sight gags, but our finest wasn't just a flash in the pan. Not only is it amusing to look at, but Alolan Exeggutor is also a formidable grass type, armed with heavy-hitting classic attacks like Solar Beam and Giga Drain. Plus, it's the first grass type to be half dragon. Okay. Pangoro, fighting type. Okay, introduced in Gen 6, Pangoro is a pugilist panda styled after Japanese ruffian that's itching to start a fight. These big bears live to brawl and communicate with their fists, often leading to painful conversations for their trainers. Its gruff demeanor and intimidating stature may imply Pangoro would pick on helpless monsters, but instead it hates bullies and doesn't stand for injustice. I still gotta go with Hitmonlee. Muck, that's a clean Muck. That's a cool Muck. The Alolan form again, poison type. Standard Muck was always a shoe-in for the best poison monster. And if you spell Muck backwards, what do you get? What does it look like? Standard Muck was always Alolan form, ultimately stands on top of the original. The addition of Dark type granted this pile of sludge a Technicolor makeover, a freshly toothed mouth, and a set of dastardly dark attacks, making this toxic attraction all the more appealing. Fairy type, Sylveon. Sylveon or Clefairy? That's a toss-up. The only evolution to make our list, Sylveon is what we see as the poster monster of the fairy type. Its pastel colors and flowing ribbons embody a whimsy with which the type is often associated. Being pure fairy also makes Sylveon a solid Pokemon for our team, often being a foil for mighty dragon, fighting, or dark types. Ho-Oh, flying type, the first legendary, really. This shimmering, then unnamed bird soaring over Ash's head during the first episode of the anime etched a glimmer of wonder within us. At the time, some of us knew the original 151 monsters like the back of our hand, but Ho-Oh's brief appearance blew our minds, opening us up to the potential mysteries in the Pokemon world. It wouldn't be formally introduced until Gold and Silver, starring as the former cover's monster and one of the final challenging monsters to catch. This rainbow-colored phoenix has the power to raise the dead, a very impressive trick that further earns its coveted spot on our list. Rayquaza, Dragon type. Okay, so what was Charizard? Fire type? Yeah, fire type. Dragonair is real cool too. Rayquaza. An airborne serpentine dragon flies high above the pinnacle of its type. Rayquaza has lived in the planet's ozone layer for millions of years, protecting the Earth from conflict between primal legendary creatures below and dangerous threats like Deoxys from the vast space above. Few Pokemon have a background more legendary than that. All right. Tony Vasquez for the win. 7 weeks, thousands of competitors worldwide, the ultimate battle to see who would take home $25,000 and the title of Last Gamer Standing. Introducing the 4 finalists who powered through level after level to endure the Gamer Gauntlet. The Gamer Gauntlet. I thought this was about breakdancing. All right. And the Last Gamer Standing is Tony Vasquez. A quick-witted, charismatic New Yorker who migrated to Florida and now owns a retro arcade bar called Gigawatts. Vasquez is a young Navy veteran who spent some memorable time in Japan, which further fueled his fondness for gaming. I grew up in old arcades and then Japan, so I fused the two together to form Gigawatts, he said. The arcade is home to over 100 retro stand-up and sit-down machines and new games on the bar, which are all switched out periodically. While at the top of his game now, the business venture has had its challenges. Vasquez is a success story. 2 weeks after he got the keys, the state shut down due to the pandemic. Ain't it the story? I couldn't open for 6 months, meaning I couldn't get a health or fire inspection, but I had to pay for utilities. I couldn't get anything done, he said. Now Vasquez is the business partner, Angel. Now Vasquez and his business partner, Angel, have not only survived the obstacles thrown at them, but they are living their best lives. I take it they're not going back and forth with you people. With the help of his crew, he took home the loot in the LGS competition, which is yet another launchpad for even brighter future. One of the most important aspects of this journey was the competition's donations to Starlight Children's Foundation. It was a blessing and the consequence of what we did. That's good chromatic karma. Loads of layers, loads of colors. I mean, unlike Amber Turd, who lied about giving up her $7 million. We'll find out more about that shortly. People would be on the lookout for my Amber Turd booster pack. People would say, what if you don't win? To me, the intention is still there. The vibration has been sent. The universe has recognized it's the secret. Gigawatts Retro Arcade Lounge. 1 gigawatt, 1 billion watts. A lighting strike can produce 1.21 gigawatts of power. Gigawatts. Marty. All right, keep them going. Trying to get in under an hour. All right, let's read the last paragraph. My personal goal as owner of Gigawatts is to get sponsored by Bandai Namco and get some exclusive Japanese arcade games in here. You know, bring the Japanese vibe to Gigawatts. Nice. Starlight, where is Starlight? We read where Starlight was, I'm sure. All right. This hottie hot. What's with her? Good game. Last gamer standing. Runner-ups. Leela McNeil. Angelic Leela. Second place. Introducing the goddess of duality. The oracle of harmony. Angelic Leela, a Dallas-Fort Worth-based streamer who aims to raise mental health awareness and help women who help women have a better, safer space in the community. Leela McNeil took second place in the Last Gamer Standing competition thanks to a legion of supportive family, friends, and fans. She's a trailblazer who leads the Pantheon of Gamers, a collective that runs tournaments in the DFW area, and an ambassador for the game Hers. I've heard of Gamers, but not Game Hers. That's a new one. And is a beloved member of the Athena Alliance. I am also heavily affiliated with the Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker community with my clan NW Ninja Way and the Fire Kage for a new way to play Shinobi Striker called Elemental War on Twitch. I hope to partner with Bandai Namco. I play a lot of their fighting games as well as Digimon, she said. I am African American and Filipino. Oh my gosh. All right, McNeil is an indie player who does reviews on Dare Drop to help creators and indie publishers. She was destined to become a gamer following in her mom's footsteps. Gaming is very nostalgic for me. Now her 8-year-old daughter continues the family tradition. McNeil's advice for newbie streamers is have fun playing and always be true to yourself. Your people will show up. Okay, Leela McNeil. Do you have that OnlyFans? Who knows? All right, this dude, Malcolm Muhammad, 3rd place, and Stephen Michael H. Slovak Jr. Okay, let's rock. The best in universe bands to record real music. Samurai, KK Slider, Star-Lord, Squid Squad, and Love Fist. Steam Deck. Valve's portable PC hits its mark, even with drawbacks. Valve's long-awaited Steam Deck is finally here, offering a portable gaming solution with broad appeal. The nature of that appeal is quite different depending on your perspective. Some primarily console-focused gamers may find a low-cost entry into at least part of the PC gaming experience. For more detailed PC players, it provides a chance to take what may already be an extensive Steam library on the go, albeit with the only specific titles optimized right now. Either way, the Steam Deck is an impressive first step into a promising future of portable PC play, with some significant issues holding it back from greatness. The Steam Deck is big, at nearly a foot in width and weighing about 1.5 pounds. It's a bit surprising the first time you pick it up, even knowing ahead of time about its bulk. However, the advantages of that heft are immediately apparent with spacious controls, a myriad of inputs, and most importantly, an impressive 7-inch display. All right, I don't see that many inputs, but maybe just a shadow of it. All right, read the last paragraph. Grade B-. But like any PC, the Steam Deck is a complex beast, and many features will likely change in the coming months. But it's Valve's foray into the handheld market. It offers access to a wealth of portable games on the go that you'll never get on mobile phone or even on your Switch. And for many, that should be reason enough to overlook any failings, even if it's never going to fit in your back pocket. Okay, the Steam Deck is an impressive piece of tech offering solid gaming performance for a growing library of Steam titles with an impressive display and user experience, punishingly low battery life, minor ergonomic issues, and dicey compatibility. Many Steam games give pause, but Valve's experiments transports many gamers into the portable realm with laudable success. $400 for the 64 gig. $530 for the 256 gig and $650 for the 512 gig. No terabyte yet. Yeah, the Steam make games. I remember people used to complain about Steam just stopped making real games. All right, becoming Nathan Drake. We talked with actor Tom Holland about stepping into the live-action role of PlayStation's iconic Explorer. When Tom Holland arrived on set to shoot Spider-Man Homecoming in 2016, his first leading role in the MCU, he was excited that one benefit of working with Sony Pictures was the company outfitted his trailer with the PS4. One game included was Naughty Dog's the latest effort, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. In his downtime on set, Holland played through the game with his friends. He fell in love with the series through that fourth entry, then went back and bought the older games to get caught up. Following early success with his Spider-Man films, Sony pitched Holland on a Nathan Drake origin story movie, to which Holland enthusiastically agreed. Skipping to the last paragraph. While Spider-Man is certainly bigger than just the Insomniac franchise, Holland now portrays the live-action versions of two of PlayStation's most iconic characters. When asked about what it means to him, a smile comes across his face. It's a huge honor, he says. As a kid, I was an avid gamer. I've been a fan of both these games, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun playing them and then adapting them into films. I'm really grateful for the opportunity that Sony has given me, and it's been a wonderful adventure so far. All right, lights going off for some reason. Hell, I must have hit something. Can we still make it out? Yeah, we can still power through. All right, I'm gonna try to wrap it up in 15 minutes anyway. Yeah, I knocked something out. All right, the 2022 spring buying guide. Nah, this kind of cheesing me off. I'm gonna try to get this fixed. Oh, keep powering through. The 2022 spring buying guide. An electric toothbrush, a health potion, mana potion, air fresheners, candles, Spider-Man stuff, Sonic stuff, bunch of stuff. DVD player looks like it. Number 5, is that a DVD player? Nope, this is a portable Xbox Series S. Okay, breaking the fantasy. For decades, Square Enix has depended on its core franchises such as Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, and Dragon Quest to wow and dazzle its audiences, but the acclaimed Japanese publisher is taking more chances in bringing in new lifeblood to bolster its homegrown offerings and remain competitive. Enter Luminous Productions, a new studio within Square Enix, created for the sole purpose of developing new IP that leverages the latest tech with a focus on producing the striking art on which the company has built its reputation. Open world action / RPG Forspoken is Luminous Productions' debut IP offering, a proving ground for what the studio can do and could become. With the stakes high, Square Enix is trying new strategies. It's bringing Western talent on board to help create Forspoken's hero and story while using lessons in Final Fantasy XV's bigger world to craft a different experience than we've come to expect from the publisher. The result is a fish-out-of-water adventure with a savvy and sarcastic young woman who is mysteriously transported from New York to a fantastical land full of evil sorceresses, dragons, and magic. Man, that's a type of anime that I keep getting told the name of, but keep on forgetting. Where you're basically plopped into an RPG. Isekai, something like that. All right, Forspoken began with the desire to create a world ruled by women. Okay. Gonna be a lot of arguments in that world. A new approach introduced as Project Athea in June 2020. Square Enix has slowly been pulling back the curtain on Forspoken, offering small looks at the game's magic, parkour, and main character. In many ways, much of the game is still a mystery, with Square Enix keeping mum on the larger narrative beats and open world activities. From our conversations, it's clear that Forspoken is a big moment for Square Enix and Luminous Productions, and there's a nervous excitement in the air, perhaps because Forspoken is so different from what's been done before by the publisher. All right, we got 12 minutes, and I'm going to just skim. Okay, could this be the next Death Stranding? It very well could be. Did anybody play Death Stranding? Looks like she's flying there, but maybe she's still doing parkour. She's throwing a Hadouken, but it's an ice Hadouken. Looks like Horizon Forbidden, yeah. Okay, critical hit. We entered the wild, wild world of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Gearbox's newest co-op shooter that takes the Borderlands formula and somehow ups the ante. Great graphics. Introducing a spiritual successor, a look at at Ayuden Chronicle, Rising Bridges, JRPG history with a brand new franchise. Suikoden 2, Chronicle of the Past. Okay, Ayuden Chronicle Rising is a town-building game with real-time combat that serves as a prologue to Rabbit and Bear Studios' anticipated JRPG Ayuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes. That's the easy elevator pitch for the game anyway. But understanding what's really packed into that sentence means following the studio's lead members back through almost 3 decades of JRPG history. Right. Read the next paragraph and flip. Rabbit and Bear Studios is Yoshitaka Maruyama, Junko Kawano, and Osamu Komoto all played pivotal roles in molding a beloved and influential series in the genre, Suikoden. Though it didn't invent the concepts, the now discontinued franchise helped popularize character recruitment and base building in JRPGs, something we see now in many modern titles. A new start. Fans of the Suikoden series had little hope of another game. The last entry, a PSP spin-off called Sumuragashi Hayuken no Toki, released in Japan in 2012. However, the title never got the official localization treatment, and Konami seemed uninterested in pursuing a franchise. With dwindling financial success and popularity after almost a decade with no word on the Suikoden title, the fan base fading flicker of hope erupted into a roaring bonfire when a Kickstarter project popped up from Suikoden's original makers in July of 2020, presenting a game that seemed to be a spiritual successor to the old series. RPG. All right, last paragraph. Ayuden Chronicle Rising debuts later this year on PS5, Xbox X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, with Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes following in 2023. The creators hope that this bite-sized companion game will give the people that supported their vision and all the players interested in checking out Suikoden's spiritual successor a fun experience to tide them over while the team continues development on the studio's primary game. Though the town creation title differs considerably from its anticipated counterpart, Maruyama, when asked about whether Rising would be a good indication of what's to expect in 100 Heroes, simply replying, "I'm hoping for that." All right. Previews. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. After more than 30 Lego games in almost half as many years, TT Games needed to rethink its formula. After the release of the Lego Movie 2 video game in 2019, the developer went back to the drawing board, designing what it believes is the ultimate Lego Star Wars project. The result is a fresh take on Lego games that should remain inviting to fans of all ages. We're going to skip to the last paragraph. It's been years since TT Games released a Lego Star Wars title, so we're eager to get our hands on the Skywalker Saga this April. TT Games' smart updates to its formula should give the new title a fresh feel, even to those who played every Lego game in the company's catalog. No matter which Star Wars trilogy is your favorite, this looks like the ultimate collection. Okay, Ghostwire Tokyo. In Ghostwire Tokyo, things are quickly going from bad to worse. Tokyo's citizens have almost entirely disappeared, replaced with various monsters that roam the streets. Per video game tradition, there's only one guy who can save the day. In this case, it's an unassuming man named Akito. Luckily for him, he's been possessed by a spirit named KK, who gives Akito supernatural powers. It's nonsense. Blowing KK. I can't think of a better reason to be excited for Ghostwire Tokyo. Put simply, it doesn't look like any other games coming out. especially other AAA titles. Ghostwire's style is uniquely its own. The broad strokes of its narrative might not do much for me, but the creatures within are more than enough to keep it high up in most anticipated list for 2022. Dig that art. Looking like a cutscene. Okay. Ghostwire is almost here. It's set to be released March 25th for PS5 and PC. That date can't come soon enough. I'm looking forward to seeing all its various horrors up close and personal when the game finally comes out. Okay, maybe this is the March issue. I don't know. Have a Nice Death. Last paragraph. Currently, Have a Nice Death is only set to be released on PC. However, given the stir it made last year at the Game Awards, it's possible the indie will make it onto other platforms when it's released in 2023. Yeah. Rune Factory. Animal Crossing type thing. We're just going to skip that. Dune, Spice Wars. First paragraph. Dune has a long history with gaming, but it remains an elusive franchise to get right. Frank Hubert's sprawling sci-fi universe is rewarding, in part because of its complexity in many interlocking aspects of politics, warfare, characters, and economic systems. That same intricacy can be challenged to transition into a playable experience. Shiro Games is taking a swing at the challenge with its upcoming Spice Wars. The early demo I saw proves a nuanced understanding of the property, if the developer can make the whole experience understandable. Last paragraph. The developers of Shiro Games clearly have a deep affection for the Dune universe and thorough understanding of what makes the fiction so enthralling. Even so, that comes along with the complexity of different systems that may be challenging to balance. And there's also the challenge of taking the monotone environments of a desert planet and making them appealing for long play sessions. Those are both surmountable issues, and I'm hopeful that the team's early progress in modernizing the Doom strategy formula. Players should have an opportunity to offer their feedback soon. Early access is planned for launch this spring. All right, 3 minutes. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, last paragraph. I know that's a big deal. If you watch the trailer, you likely notice how great the score sounds, which is no surprise for the Xenoblade series. Takahashi also revealed that the flute-based melody played throughout the announcement trailer will be a motif for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. While September is still a few months away, the threequel's flute melody should tide you over until Nintendo and Monolith Soft reveal more info about Ainos, Noah, and Mio, and how the game connects to the previous two entries. I think I have Xenoblade 2. Still in the plastic. It's crazy. Nintendo Switch Sports. I heard this is real good. Nintendo Switch Sports. They got some sabers going. This latest iteration in the motion control series lets you use your Joy-Cons to play 6 different sports. You can compete in person or online in bowling, tennis, chambra, swordplay, volleyball, badminton, and soccer. Following the game's April 29th launch, players can look forward to a free update this fall that will add golf to the collection. Sounds good. Songs of Glimmerwick, Bear and Breakfast, Loot River, Roots of Pacha, The Settlers, Vessels of Decay, Radio the Universe, Slitterhead, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's a pretty big deal. Let's read that. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass paid DLC promises 48 additional racetracks by 2023. 6 waves containing 8 courses each will include an assortment of classic as well as more recent circuits for Nintendo's kart racing fans. Even N64 arenas like the Choco Mountain and the Coconut Mall Wii locale will appear in the game. Wave 1 starts on March 18th. Got Mario Kart as well. Still in the plastic. Mina the Hollower in Warhammer 40k, Chaos Gate, Demon Hunters, Seeing as how I am a tabletop channel, I will read that. There's no end to Warhammer games these days, but Chaos Gate, Damon Hunter's take on XCOM style strategy piqued our interest. This reboot of a 98 PC release puts you in charge of a squad of superhuman Grey Knights as they push back against the followers of an all-consuming Plague Lord. Along the way, you'll upgrade your base of operations, unlock devastating new psychic abilities, and go toe-to-toe with screen-filling bosses that shake up the standard turn-based action. Okay. A few more pages, a little over an hour. Okay, in the reviews, Elden Ring. Gave that joint a perfect 10. Let's read the last paragraph. Elden Ring challenged me, captivated me, and enchanted me. An unyielding deluge of discovery and artistic vision unbound. It represents a truly amazing combination of various game elements that all come together to create something fascinating, special, and unforgettable. Elden Ring isn't just one of the best games this year, it's one of the best games ever made. God dang. Alright, let's go ahead and read the first paragraph. Once in a great while, a game comes along that seamlessly combines impeccable gameplay, a wondrous world, incredible tone-setting music, and unparalleled art direction. From Software's Elden Ring is one of these games. An action RPG that channels the best aspects of the studio's last decade of work into one enormous package. This absurdly ambitious open world captivated my curiosity, enticed me with puzzles, secrets, and mysteries, and served up incredibly satisfying moments as I experienced one of the most extraordinary adventures of all time. From my initial foray into the world to the final moments, every step of the journey was a note in a personalized epic that kept me coming back for more. Continually serving up sensational sights that only got more enthralling and fantastic as the voyage went on. Alright. Perfect 10. Don't see too many 10s. Horizon Forbidden West, 9.25. Almost a 10 as well. Fantastic art. Alright, last paragraph. Horizon Forbidden West reaches a new high bar for Guerrilla Games. It does more than surpass its predecessor. It takes Horizon's fiction to captivating places and builds a rich world that rewards you for the effort you put in it. Dying Light, Stay Human. Got a 9.5. That's amazing as well. I can see how it's hard to keep up with these games, man. Dying Light 2 is an engaging journey of discovery and gaining power. Almost everything you do embraces those dynamics. In evolving Beyond's first game offering, putting a stronger emphasis on the characters helps shape the world in meaningful ways. Some of Aiden's choices are difficult to make, especially those surrounding a character named Lewin, who is given a hell of a post by Rosario Dawson. I can't say enough great things where his and her stories go. I adored almost every second of this game and see myself revisiting it often. As Techland has announced, at least 5 years of DLC is on the way. That's a wonderful promise to hear when starting a new game that has turned out this well. I got 5% battery. If it cuts off, just know the battery died. Pokemon Legend of Arceus, 8.75. Despite the shortcomings, Pokemon Legends of Arceus is a worthwhile spin-off adventure with an enticing gameplay loop, fun side activities, and a story I'm glad I saw through to the end. Pokemon Legends of Arceus sets a solid foundation for what I hope is the next evolution for the series. Far Changing Tides, 8.25. Lost Ark, 8.25. Ali Lali World, 8. Infernax, 8. Seafood, 7.25. Martha's Dead, a 6. Tracing the Threads, this Fox game, Tunic. Tunic looks like it has some sweet puzzles, nice different types of art in there. And Bungie's Wild Ride, a timeline of financial dealings that have shaped one of gaming's most impactful studios, Bungie. All right. I am out. Like, comment, subscribe. Live long and prosper.